The rodeo lights burned bright, but all I could feel was the weight of a secret. They thought I bought my horse cheap. They didn't know the truth. I was paying in whispers, in stares, in a town that never forgave a man for loving another man. And the hardest part? I wasn't sure I was strong enough to stay when running felt so much easier. The crowd at the rodeo grounds wasn't cheering. It was watching, waiting, hungry for a show. Boots scraped against the metal bleachers, and every pair of eyes seemed to burn through me. I told myself I was only there for the horse. A tall bay gelding stood restless in the pen, ears flicking, hooves pawing at the packed dirt as if he knew he was about to be sold. I'd spent months saving enough to make a bid. That horse was supposed to be my future, my way out of working other men's ranches. But then I heard him. "Fine pick," a voice drawled. I turned and there was Caden, older, broader, carrying himself with the kind of calm that made men either respect him or resent him. His reputation stretched across 3 counties. He'd built his ranch back from ruin, but people also whispered he liked men. Whispers weren't safe out here. "You planning to bid?" he asked, not unkindly. I cleared my throat, trying to keep steady. Thinking about it, he smirked, but not in mockery, more like he'd heard those same words from 100 dreamers. "Thinking's free. That horse won't be." The auctioneer's hammer cracked through the noise, numbers flying fast. My pulse kept up with the bidding, but my wallet couldn't. I pushed harder, hand raised, only to feel the stairs land heavier each time. Caden didn't bid. He just stood by the rail, eyes sharp, watching me crumble. When the price hit higher than I could follow, I dropped my hand. The relief on the men around me was ugly, like they'd been waiting for me to fail. Then the storm rolled in. Wind whipped through the open gates, scattering hay, rattling tin. Rain came down in sheets and the crowd broke apart, running for cover. The gelding slammed against the boards, head high, eyes wild. "Storm's just starting," Caden said behind me. "Best find shelter." I should have walked away. Instead, I followed him to the tack shed by the barn, rain soaking us both before we even got inside. The smell of wet leather and hay pressed in, the wind howling through every crack. He lit the stove, poured coffee into dented tin cups, slid one across. For a moment, neither of us spoke. I couldn't tell if he'd brought me here to offer help or to test me. Finally, he said, "You've got heart bidding like that, but heart doesn't pay for horses." The words stung because they were true. My pride fought to answer back. But then he leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "I'll make you a deal," he said. "Help me ride the fence line tonight. Storm's tearing it apart. Horses spook easy when they're loose. You put in the work, and that gelding boards at my ranch for a month. No charge." I stared at him. A test, a trick, another way to put me in his debt. The storm rattled the roof so loud I almost didn't hear my own voice. "All right," I said. We saddled 2 paints in the driving rain and rode out. The land turned to rivers beneath our boots. Branches snapped, mud dragged at the horse's legs. Every few yards, another section of fence leaned or sagged, and we fixed it with numb hands and clenched jaws. No time for talk, only work. Hours passed that way. My muscles burned, but Caden never slowed. When I sliced my palm open on a splintered post, he was at my side instantly, tying a strip of cloth around my hand with surprising gentleness. "Keep pressure on it," he said. His voice wasn't teasing now. It was steady, sure. By the time we rode back, soaked and caked in mud, the storm had broken. The gelding stood waiting at the gate, calmer than I'd ever seen him. He walked straight to me, pressed his nose against my chest, and for a second I felt something shift. Caden saw it too. "Looks like he chose you," he said. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Because for the first time all night, I wasn't sure whether I was fighting for the horse or for something else entirely. And in the silence that followed, I knew. Either way, this town wasn't going to forgive me for it. Word spreads faster than wildfire in a small town, and by morning the embers were already burning. I'd barely set foot in the feed store when I caught the sideways grins. 2 ranch hands near the counter didn't bother lowering their voices. "That's him," one said. "Bought himself a horse the special way," the other replied, spitting into a cup. Heat climbed up my neck. I clenched my jaw, paid for the salt block I didn't really need, and left. My boots felt heavier with every step. By the time I reached the truck, the shame had turned into something sharper, Anger, but with nowhere to go. Back at Caden's ranch, he was fixing a hinge on the south gate. He looked up, read my face in an instant, and wiped his hands on a rag. Rough morning? They're talking, out loud, not even pretending to whisper. He sighed as if he'd been expecting it. This town makes sport of gossip. Last month it was a preacher. Week before that, some poor girl from Amarillo. They'll move on. It's different this time, I said. They've got a story that sticks. I wanted him to fight it, to tell me none of it mattered. Instead, he only nodded, steady but tired. Then stay out here a while. Train the gelding. Let it blow over. I didn't answer right away. Part of me wanted to pack up, cut ties, protect myself. But another part, louder, wanted to stay. So I nodded. The days fell into rhythm. We worked side by side, hauling hay, checking fences, riding out when the wind stirred trouble. Caden moved like a man used to carrying weight alone, but he didn't shove me away. He let me in, slowly, in the small ways that mattered. 2 plates at breakfast, my mug waiting by the stove, silence that wasn't empty, but the town didn't forget. Not them. One evening, my phone buzzed with a message from an old high school friend. The screen lit up with a photo, me standing at the auction rail beside Caden, the gelding in the background. The caption read, "How much is that cowboy in the bunkhouse?" Laughter emojis filled the comments. My stomach turned. I locked the phone, but the damage was already done. I could feel it crawling under my skin, the weight of a joke that wasn't a joke. Caden came in from the barn, towel draped around his neck. You okay? I didn't answer. He noticed, stepped closer. What happened? I handed him the phone. His jaw tightened as he read, then he set it down with care. I should have warned you. No, I snapped. This is on me. I stayed. I let it happen. He frowned. What exactly did you let happen? This, I gestured between us. You're already the town's favorite target. Now they've got me in the frame too. Headlines, photos, all of it. Caden's eyes hardened, but his voice stayed calm. So what? Let them talk. You don't get it, I shot back. I can't be the joke. Not again. He crossed his arms. No, you're running. Call it protection if you want, but it's running all the same. The truth of it hit hard, but I couldn't admit it. Instead, I packed that night in silence. The gelding, my gelding now, watched as I loaded him into the trailer. His hooves thudded like a warning, but I ignored it. Caden stood on the porch, hands in his pockets, the porch light cutting across his shoulders. He didn't beg me to stay. He didn't move at all, just tipped his hat as I pulled away. The road stretched long, but my chest felt longer. I told myself I was protecting both of us. But when I stopped at a gas station 2 towns over, a stranger glanced at me, then at the horse trailer and whispered to his buddy. Laughter followed. That's when it hit me. Running hadn't saved me from the whispers. It had only proved them right. 4 days after leaving Caden's ranch, I was still circling the same small pasture behind my family's place, trying to settle the gelding. He fought me at every turn, tossing his head, breaking rhythm. Sweat streaked his neck, but it wasn't the work that unsettled him. It was me. Horses feel the truth you don't say out loud. Come on, boy, I muttered, but my voice carried no conviction. He knew it. He missed Caden's land, the wide stretches of mesquite, the calm whistle at dusk. He missed the man as much as I did. Nights were worse. I'd lie awake, phone face down beside me, half hoping it would light up, half hating myself for hoping at all. The town's laughter hadn't followed me home, not directly, but it lingered in every silence. Running hadn't freed me. It had hollowed me. On the 4th morning, the phone finally rang. Caden's name lit the screen. I froze before answering. Hey, I said, too soft. Forgot to give you the gelding's health papers, he said. His voice was steady but not cold. He's due for Coggins next month. Right. Thanks. The pause that followed weighed more than the words. You keeping him stalled too much? Caden asked finally. He gets restless when he's not worked regular. I've been riding him, I admitted, but it's not the same. No, he said simply. It wouldn't be. Silence again. Then quietly. You think I'm mad at you? I didn't answer. I'm not, he continued. I was hurt. Yeah, but not mad. I sat on the porch steps, phone pressed tight against my ear. My throat felt raw. I've run from things before. Gossip, stares. I thought if I kept moving, it would fade. And did it? No, I whispered. It followed me anyway. Caden exhaled. The sound wrapped around me like warm wind. Those people don't lie awake next to you. They don't mend fence in the rain or brush down your horse. They just watch. And watching is easy. The words hit harder than I wanted to admit, because they were true. That afternoon, I stopped by the co-op for a set of new reins. At the counter, I ran into Miss Elna, a ranch widow older than the hills. She squinted at me, cane tapping the floor. "You're Caden's fella, aren't you?" My pulse jumped. "We're friends," I muttered. She smiled knowingly. "Well, you tell him his mama's peach trees are blooming early. He'll know what that means." She leaned closer. "You know what love is, son?" I braced myself. She didn't soften her voice. "It ain't fire, not most days. And it sure as hell ain't loud. Love's the quiet work. Fixing the same damn latch 3 times because the wind won't quit. Holding your horse's head when he's down. Standing by someone when the town wants you gone." I stared, caught between disbelief and a pull I couldn't fight. "That's a lot to drop on me in a checkout line." She grinned. "Then get out of it. You've got things to fix." That night I sat in the barn brushing the gelding, his breath warm against my shoulder. "I think we both miss him," I whispered. The horse didn't flinch. The decision came without ceremony. No plan, no speech, just clarity. Running hadn't saved me, and hiding wasn't living. I loaded the gelding into the trailer before sunrise, strapped in the tack, and placed one more thing on the passenger seat. A leather halter I'd carved myself, a name finally pressed into it. Rhythm. The road stretched west toward Caden's land. This time it didn't feel like returning. It felt like choosing. Caden was tightening wire on the south fence when my truck pulled in. He looked up but didn't move. Dust curled around my tires as I cut the engine. For a second, all I heard was the gelding shifting inside the trailer. I stepped out slow, opened the latch. Rhythm backed down the ramp like he knew exactly where he was. His ears flicked toward the barn, toward Caden. Caden walked closer, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Didn't expect to see you this soon." "Didn't expect to come back," I said. "But here we are." He stopped a few feet away, gaze steady. "You bringing him home?" "Yeah," I said. "And me too, if the offer still stands." For a moment he didn't speak. Then he breathed in slow. "Depends on whether we start it right this time." We leaned against the rail, the wind brushing through the grass. I didn't dodge it. I left because I was scared. Scared of the stares, the talk, scared of how much I needed you before I even figured out what I wanted. "You think I wasn't scared?" His voice was quiet. "I stood on that porch the night you drove off, telling myself to shut the door, tell myself I never needed anyone. But it would have been a lie." I looked at him. "So what now?" He shifted to face me fully. "If we do this, it's not about horses or gossip. It's not about what one of us gives the other. We choose it. Every day." I nodded. My chest felt lighter and heavier at the same time. "Then we set terms," he said. "Terms? You said you didn't want a bargain, but we need one. A real one." I swallowed. "Go on." "No debts, no paybacks. If I want something, I ask. If you want something, you do the same. And when it gets hard, and it will, we don't walk without talking first." I held out my hand. "Agreed." His grip was firm, steady. Not a kiss, not a promise. Something stronger. That night, the porch light was already on when I came back from brushing Rhythm down. Caden was waiting with 2 plates of cornbread and beans. We ate side by side, bumping elbows. Words scarce, but enough. Later, we washed dishes together, shoulder to shoulder, laughter breaking through once or twice. It felt honest. When the sky turned black and the stars pressed low, we sat on the swing out front. My hand brushed his. He didn't squeeze, didn't push. Just let me rest there. For the first time in weeks, silence didn't feel heavy. It felt earned. The next morning over coffee, Caden glanced up from his feed notes. "You know the summer trail show's in 2 weeks." I raised a brow. He shrugged. "Green horse class. Rhythm qualifies." I waited. His mouth pulled into a slow smile. Thought maybe we enter. Together. No apologies. Let the town see what it really is. For a second, I couldn't breathe. The idea of stepping into that arena, all those eyes, all that judgment, it rattled me. But then I thought of leaving again, of hiding. That felt worse. I grinned despite myself. Let's ride. The heat rose off the arena dirt and waves. Rhythm shifted under me, steady but alert, ears flicking at the buzz of the crowd. Kids shouted for snow cones, judges shuffled papers, and I felt every eye turn our way. Some curious, some cruel. Caden stood at the gate, arms folded, sunglasses low. He didn't wave. He just gave me a short nod, solid as a post. It was enough. The announcer called our number. I touched my heel lightly against Rhythm's side. He moved forward, not rushing, not balking, just ready. We weren't here for ribbons. We were here to be seen. The pattern was simple. Walk, trot, canter, halt. But with all those eyes, even simple felt like a trial. Rhythm read my nerves, shifted once, then settled when I exhaled. Step by step, he carried me through. His trot matched my breath. His canter held even through the corner. A child in the stands dropped a drink, ice scattering across metal bleachers. The crowd jumped, but Rhythm held his line. No spook, no break. He trusted me, and in that moment, I trusted him back. We halted in the center. The judge raised his hand. It was done. The applause wasn't thunderous, but it was real. Not everyone clapped, but enough did to drown the whispers. My chest eased. We'd shown them something they couldn't twist into rumor. Honesty between a rider and a horse. At the gate, Caden met me with a grin he didn't hide. You two looked damn good. We rode clean, I said. You rode honest, he replied. That's rarer. We didn't take first, but we placed fourth. The green rosette felt heavier than gold. I pinned it to Rhythm's bridle, fingers steady for the first time in weeks. Back at the trailer, once the horse was watered and cooled, Caden leaned against the fender. His voice dropped low. You ever think about staying? Not just weekends? Full-time. I turned. You mean? He pulled a folded paper from his pocket. Rhythm's ownership transfer. Your name stays on it, always. But I'd like your name on more than just a horse. The words landed deep. He wasn't asking for secrets or favors. He was asking for a life. I want a partner, he said. Not a guest. Someone to build this place with. Fence by fence, day by day. The sun was dropping low, sky turning peach. Rhythm grazed near the fence, tail swishing, like he already belonged. Yes, I said. Caden reached into his bag and pulled out a brass plate he'd ordered weeks ago, but never used. 2 names engraved side by side. He held it out. Thought maybe we screw it onto Rhythm's stall. Make it real. We did it together, nails biting into wood, the plate gleaming in the fading light. Rhythm snorted, approving. That night, the porch swing creaked as we sat shoulder to shoulder, mugs cooling on the rail. Out in the field, hooves thudded soft against the earth. Inside, the floorboards groaned with the weight of a house not empty anymore. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't bracing for gossip or waiting for silence to swallow me. I was where I chose to be. And when Caden's hand found mine, steady and sure, I realized the whispers had never mattered. What mattered was showing up every day for the life we were building, together.